What's going on, everybody? Along with the TMF podcast, I'm going to do a follow-up to the video I did yesterday about the officer pepper spraying the active military lieutenant there on the traffic stop. Because I got a lot of comments on it, and I found some of them to be interesting, and I replied to them. But I do want to just go a little bit over this and address some of these comments from a narrative that maybe you just don't see every day. I don't know. And my narrative, because look, I'm a 38-year-old white male that lives in the Southeast, right? So paint the picture how you will. But I'm going to tell you this from some of the comments I got. Little backstory on me and police is I have encountered police several times in my life. Starting off when I was, 18 years old, traffic stops. Bought a sports car, got pulled over by police. Had a van with a stupid stereo in it, got pulled over by police. Been arrested several times at traffic stops. Been arrested for outstanding warrants of things that were paid at traffic stops in court. Just still in the system. Don't have it with you, come with me. Anytime a cop was behind me, I was nervous. Because that cop can put me in his car, take me with him, and my life could forever be different. I knew that every single time. To this day, I don't like cops following for anything. And, those days of driving crazy and bending the rules are pretty far behind me, to be honest with you. I got pulled over for a lot of driving too fast, reckless driving, drive on expired tag, got my license suspended, drove anyway, got arrested for that. Just dumb shit. But I always complied with the officer because I was terrified. Like, no part of my ever wanted to just be like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do this. I don't have to get out the car. Whatever. Look, okay, sorry. I'll do whatever. And, I got arrested twice where it was just an issue. Like someone didn't click the button. Who knows? I don't know. The citation was paid. I went to the holding cell anyway. Bail out, go to court, and then sorry. So I've been there for sure. Now, what happened with this guy? Completely different story. But I do want to address some of these comments because I feel like because I'm a middle-aged white guy, my perspective is inherently different for some reason. Now, I've never been shot by a cop, never been tased, pepper sprayed, but I've been in a fair share of situations where cops have come up with a hand on a gun, for sure. They don't know what they're getting into. I get it. I do. But at the same time, there's no justification for some of the things that happen out there. So I want to answer a couple of these comments and just a little easier to do in a video. So they could have at least, this is from Angela Henderson. They could have at least let the man know why he was being pulled over from the beginning. None of that had to happen. Angela, you are 1,000,000,000% correct. I don't know why cops don't just say from there, look, this guy's going, what did I do? He's clearly hands up. Why are you stopping me? And this cop has no intentions of telling it, which is suspicious. You could say, hey, suspicious vehicle spotted in the area, or blew a stop sign, or whatever the case may be. Just be like, look, this is what you did. I need you to comply with me. I need you to work with me on this. Get out of the car. Let's figure it out. So you're absolutely right. Just tell them. Like, what's the point of not telling and going through this yelling match where this guy says this guy says that? I don't get it. We got here, Kevin says the Supreme Court has ruled an officer can ask somebody to get out of the vehicle for a routine stop, which is fine. They can ask you to do whatever they want. Dude, I can walk up to your car in traffic and ask you to get out of the car. The question is, can they force you to get out of the car? Because asking somebody to step out of the car and then being like, I don't want to do that, and doing what this cop did, which is having a weapon drawn, pepper spraying him, and pretty much forcibly removing him from the vehicle when he appeared, as far as we can tell, to be no threat. I don't think that's what the Supreme Court had in mind. Let's see here. Your number one said, I think you forgot the idea of one wrong move and you're dead. It's very common with us black people. So this is where I have like kind of I have mixed emotions about this comment because it's not that it doesn't happen to black people. It's that it does actually happen to every race. It's not just black people. However, when it happens to someone who is black, the uprising is significantly worse than any other race. Not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that the black community will rise up and play the racism card immediately. So, several white people die at the hands of cops. Every ethnicity dies at the hands of a cop. It's not okay, no matter what color you are. Not okay. I will say that in some of the instances that we have seen recently, the blatant disrespect and we'll just say like argumentative behavior leads to down this path. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know. I'm not there, so I can't say for sure. And I'm not saying that that's because they're black. I'm just saying that if you're in this situation, you want to argue with a cop, fight a cop, disobey a cop, or we can go down some of the other situations that happened. You know, you're kind of opening the door that opens the door that opens the door to hell with these guys. So that's just where I'm at with that one. 4Q says at least he wasn't shot. That's a plus. I mean, he wasn't shot, wasn't tased, he was pepper sprayed, but either way, it's still not okay. Not by a long shot. We got John H here. Where's the video from the first police officer's body cam and dash cam and how long they had been driving around with lights and sirens? When was joined by the second officer? Also, this is from 4 months ago. Why so long? Why are we only getting an edited clip, not displaying everything leading up to this? You don't get a call out on the radio for a felony traffic stop for no plates display. Now, this is very true. He also has a follow up. If this officer pulled this shit when I was in the unit up to the division, would have eventually processed him out for the shit pulled on a civilian police force. Okay, so, and I think he's referring to the military at that point. But he's right. Why are we just hearing about this? It happened in December, so this is not a new occurrence. It's just news occurrence to us. And maybe that has something to do with him being in the military and active and the fact that he's being stopped by a civilian police officer and not a military police officer, and the MPs handle things differently. That could have something to do with it as far as the media blackout goes. Don't really know. But it is interesting. I would like to know how long they followed him around. Did they blue light him? Did he drive for 100 yards? Did he drive for a mile? He clearly wanted to pull over in an area that was well lit. And I did see something about that as well, where that's not an uncommon thing, especially for the black community, to seek out a place that is well lit, preferably somewhere there's other people to traffic stop, which that's something I would want to do at this point. That seems completely reasonable. But I don't know. I don't know that now having like a not displaying a tag or a dealer tag. I don't know if it wasn't displayed. I mean, he said it was in the window. Don't really know the rundown on that. Raquel Bryan says, I hear you, but the unfortunate thing is that you would not understand the trauma and honestly PTSD that black people experience on a daily basis when they come in contact with the police. I commend the lieutenant for not losing his cool to comply. Maybe an option if you are white. Otherwise, there is still a chance you could end up dead. I have a strong opinion about this particular comment because PTSD, when it comes to police, is not a racial thing. It's just not. Anyone who's had a bad experience with a cop is going to be traumatized by that experience and project that onto other cops. I do it for sure. And I know cops. I know guys that are in the sheriff's department that have come into my other business for years, and they're great people. They're nice guys. They handle themselves very well, very professional, they're kind, and I would in no way feel threatened by them because I know them. However, any other cop that wants to come in and approach me for something, I'm immediately nervous. I just am. It's just me. I'm not like, oh, I'm white, they're not going to harm me. That's not how I feel. I've experienced it. I would say that anyone who has not had an altercation with a police officer would fall into that. I know several black people who've never had an altercation with a police officer. Don't fear him in one bit, not even the slightest bit. But yes, do commend the lieutenant for not losing his cool. So that's interesting. I mean, he could have got out of the car. I mean, he knew he had a weapon in the car, and it was a legal weapon, so there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't know. I don't know about that one. And she had a follow up comment here as well that says, I'm not sure more training is going to help this officer. His whole approach is disturbing. The recording shows that he treated the officer who tried to help undo the lieutenant's seatbelt. And the whole video is sad. You're right. And like I said in my first video, training is definitely the solution to preventing a lot of this. However, at some point, some people just don't need to be police officers, period. And you might not be able to untrain that guy. He may have already been through things on the job that have made him this way, and you can't take it out of him so easily. So I do agree with you on that one. Let's see. Nacho Nieto says the situation sucks in every way possible. There's no excuses. Yeah, it doesn't matter the race. Those cops must be erased from the police. That's fact. It's no excuse. No excuse at all. Now, here we go here. Pause this 1 second. I gotta take this call real quick. Alrighty here. So, HIV hoax left this comment. It was absolutely because of racism. The officer admitted that he saw the tag once they reached the gas station, so that should have allowed the officers to de-escalate the situation, but they continued because they have tunnel vision. Even after officers saw the guy was in a military uniform and the officer even asked him his rank, the officer acknowledged that he too served, but even then the officer continued to escalate the situation. At this point, it became what I call a need to emasculate this black man by making him get down on the ground for the only purpose of showing that he had authority over him and to make the black man submit to his so-called authority. This is done because his ego had to show this black man that he might be in uniform, but he gets no respect from the officers because he's in uniform no matter what his rank. Didn't matter that officer. Because of that white officer, he was black, and the white officer felt superior and was going to exert his authority over this black man. This is nothing other than a case of Dred Scott decision. So, to this comment, this is where I don't agree with all of this. I just can't. Knowing people that have served in the military, generally, I find it hard for you to be like blatantly racist in the military. You don't, once you sign up, you don't get to pick who you spend your time with, who your brothers are. When you go to war, you go overseas, you go on deployment, you do any of that stuff, you're not going to make it if you just want to be around white dudes. You just want to be around black dudes. Like, that's not the military. Could be wrong. I didn't serve in the military, but I don't see that working out so good. You know what I mean? So, where what I don't like about this entire situation is we call this officer a racist. I don't know if he's racist. He might be. He might not like black people. I have no idea. And to that note, neither do you. You don't know. You know him from 6 minutes of his entire life. 6 minutes of his entire life where he made a absolutely piss poor decision. He did something that was unjust, severely unjust to this man. And for that, he's racist. Now, I took a picture in traffic earlier. I was going to put it up here on my screen. Hold on 1 second. All right, I took this picture today, broad daylight. This is just cars in front of me. I could not tell you the ethnicity of a single person in any of those cars in front of me at all. You can look at this photo. You couldn't tell me the single ethnicity of a single person in these cars. So to tell me that this guy knew he was black, driving around at night in, what I would presume is a tinted SUV because most of them are tinted from factory now. From behind the car, unless you're, dude, straight at him, headlights in, maybe you can see him. I have a hard time believing that he knew that that guy was black or Latino or anything because you just can't tell. Dude, I drive a Tesla. The back is tinted out. You could not tell me there are any people in that car from behind. So I find that hard to believe. All right, we're gonna go down to this thing a little bit here. Um, it continued because they had tunnel vision. Sure, I mean absolutely. He had already, the officer put himself in the situation. Guy in the car did not put the officer in a hostile situation. Not from the video that we saw. But I don't think he needed to emasculate him. I, the thing is, I don't know why he felt the need to get this guy. I think if it was my opinion, my viewpoint of it is that he did not like the fact that this guy did not want to do anything that he told him to do. Get out of the car, take your seatbelt off, do this, do that. The guy pretty much said no to everything. And every time that the guy in the car says no, the level of anxiety and fear in that officer just went like this every time. No, no, no. It went up to the point where now we're no longer making smart decisions. Now we're making bad decisions. I You'd be hard pressed without more information to tell me that he did it because he wanted to emasculate the man. I don't see that happen. I don't think that was the case. We need more information on this guy. But my issue is that social justice doesn't care about the information we're missing. It does not care at all. And while I will tell you that this officer should not be a police officer, should not do this job, should have some sort of, punishment for what he's done to this man. I don't think it's fair that the world goes, he's racist. I just don't. I don't believe that you should make that judgment assumption off of 6 minutes of his life. I don't think that's fair. I think you should judge him as a man who did something unjust and unlawful to another man. That's how I feel. I'm not looking at this as black versus white. The world would be a better place if we stop looking at everything as black versus white. Michael West says, would he do it to a white service member though? We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know the answer to that question. We would have to go back and look at all of his arrest records, all of his incident reports, and see who he interacted with and how he interacted with them, and build a profile around him and what he's done in his career. We won't know. Maybe he would have done that. New Jersey self-defense. You don't think all this energy this cop is dishing out has anything to do with his own racial bias? Funny thing is, they are both Latino. White supremacy is an ideology. It is a belief system that anyone can try to embrace. This includes non-whites who seek acceptance or who subconsciously identify with the dominant culture and all the dominant culture says about others. I don't think it was racial at all. I think that there are people out there who definitely look down upon other races as inferior people, regardless. I think that a percentage of people that do that is very, very small in consensus to the population of people on the planet. That's what I think. I don't think that this guy got out on some belief system. I don't. Now, he might he might feel like, I don't know. I don't even know. It could be 100 things, honestly. Um, there is a follow up comment to that as well. It says this is not a training issue. We rarely see these sorts of incidents with white folks. There is a lot that goes into white supremacy. White kids from the burbs have parents that sue. That's power. No one is coming to the rescue if, namely, black folks are targeted. There is no enforcement arm, swift response, or any other response unless people make noise about it and protest. As a result, the fear and consequence of these actions are not a consideration when dealing with someone black. See, we're going to have to agree to disagree. I do think the black community is very, very vocal when it comes to anything like this that's unjust. I don't think the white community is as vocal, or the Asian. When's the last time you heard of an Asian crime? Someone did something to an Asian and they just got really mad about it. And you just don't. You do not hear about it. You hardly hear, like, look, honestly, what's even worse is how people treat Latinos and Mexicans in America, or people from not even from there, just from South America in general, how they treat them is entirely different. I mean, look, most of the time they're treated like shit. That's just reality. They are just given zero benefit of the doubt of anything. They're here illegally. They take your jobs and free money, but whatever it is, whatever the narrative is, no one stands up for them and says, oh, this was unjust. Never happens, which is crazy. This racial inequality in America is predominantly highly percentage of black versus white, one versus one, when America is filled with all these other races. A lot of them just get shit on. They do. And white guys get shit on. Everyone gets shit on. Look, we all take it, just different ways. We really do. And there's just so many people out there. There's so many black police officers and Latino police officers and lawyers and attorneys and doctors, and we choose our path and choose to not put ourselves in certain situations. I don't know. I don't believe that. I have 2 kids. They honestly don't care what color you are at all. They don't care. It's not important to them whatsoever. You know? So I don't know, man. I don't really fall in line with that one. And then he said the videos of whites don't go viral because it isn't narrative that benefits anybody. That is true. I believe that. There's no when it comes to what you see on the internet and what is talked about on the internet and what is put in front of your feed, it's usually stuff that gets your attention and keeps you there. Rarely do we sit there and read an article that's heartwarming. We want to hear a story that's heartwarming. That doesn't keep our attention. But if you hear something that's like, dude, what happened? Dude, I gotta see that. What? You're not gonna go, oh man, did you see that? Like, all those puppies broke out of PetSmart. It was like adorable. And like some of them got like pets and people took them home. Nobody cares. But you tell me a white cop pulled this dude over in a gas station, walked up to him, pepper sprayed him. He was active military, threw him on the ground, all this stuff. Yeah, I want to see that video. Definitely want to see that video. None of that's okay. That gets attention. That gets views. That makes people money. That's why we see it. Because, look, we can't. You're crazy if you think that this is since December to April. This is the only time something like this has happened. That it's crazy to believe that. It happens all the time. It's just we pick and choose what's important. And that sucks. Now, I don't want my entire news feed and TV and phone and everything to be bad news of cops did bad shit. I don't want to see that all day. It's depressing. However, somebody needs to say something whenever it happens. so that it stops happening. And my my honest opinion on this and the way I feel is that if we stop putting the race of the person in front of their name or description every time something happens, eventually we'll just stop doing it. I know people don't believe me, but I know Morgan Freeman said it. There was an interview with him. I've got a clip of it on my computer somewhere, where he said, I'm Morgan Freeman. Yeah, he was on 60 Minutes talking to whoever was the host of that show, old dude. So you just call me Morgan Freeman, not Black Morgan Freeman. I get it as a descriptor, sure. But, if you like need to describe a person, like to a T, sure. But I don't call people I know that are black, black and then their name. I just call them who they are. I just say this is so and so. That John. Okay. Because it doesn't matter what color they are. And if we stop putting it in front of everything, eventually it'll go away. Because if we continue to keep making it all about race, then these kids growing up that are stuck on TikTok, that are stuck on YouTube, that are growing up in this world of social media, of a million things of input at one time, that is what they are going to think. Every time they see it, every time they read about it, every time then it's going to be in their brain, and it's not going to be their parents that put it there. It's going to be all of us, everybody as a whole, collectively, that put those thoughts into their head. And that is not okay. So, hope you guys watch this. I do enjoy the narrative. Like I said in my other videos, leave me comments. I'd love to talk about them. If you'd like to be a part of the podcast, we can work that out too. Leave me a comment because I'd love to just talk to people. I don't really care what you do, man. If you got an opinion you want to talk about here that you feel is drastically different from mine, even better. Because a nice conversation from two sides where we can have a back and forth would be a lot of fun. And maybe we can change each other's mind. I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer, but maybe we can get together and go, you know what? You got a point. I never looked at it from that way. Because right now, I'm talking to you guys by myself. And I'm reading comments. And I'm just throwing it out there. So definitely leave me some comments on that. And like I said, check out TMF Apparel USA. It stands for Tough Motherfucker. I like the fight gear, the MMA scene. I have all this other stuff, fun stuff, dad shirts, mom shirts, all that kind of stuff. Good stuff. So until next time, I'll see you later.